हेलो माय डियर फ्रेंड्स, कैसे हैं आप लोग। उम्मीद करती हूँ आप सब अच्छे होंगे। द बुक थीफ रिटन बाय मार्कस ज्यूसैक। फर्स्ट पढ़ लिए हम डेथ एंड चॉकलेट। अब सेकेंड है बिसाइड द रेलवे लाइन। First up is something white on the blinding kind. Some of you are most likely thinking that white is not really a color and all of that tired sort of nonsense. Well, I am here to tell you that it is. White is without question a color, and personally, I don't think you want to argue. A reassuring announcement. Please be calm despite that previous threat. I am all bluster. I am not violent. I am not malicious. I am a result. Yes, it was white. It felt as though the whole globe was dressed in snow, like it had pulled it on the way you pull on a jumper. Next to the train line, footprints were sunken to their shins. Trees wore blankets of ice. You might expect someone had died. They couldn't just leave him on the ground. For now, it wasn't such a problem, but very soon the track ahead would be cleared and the train would need to move on. There were two guards. There was a mother and her daughter, one corpse. The mother, the girl, and the corpse remained stubborn and silent. Well, what else do you want me to do? The guards were tall and short. The tall one always spoke first, though he was not in charge. He looked at the smaller rounder one, the one with the juicy red face. Well, was the response, he can't just leave them like this, can we? The tall one was losing patience. Why not? And the smaller one damn near exploded. He looked up the tall one's chin and cried, Spins to do. Are you stupid? The abhorrence on his cheeks was growing thicker by the moment. His skin widened. Come on, he said, traipsing through the snow. We will carry all three of them back on if we have to. We will notify the next stop. As for me, I had already made the most elementary of mistakes. I can't explain to you the severity of my self disappointment. Originally, I had done everything right. I studied the blinding white snow sky who stood at the window of the moving train. I practically inhaled it, but still I waved, I buckled, I became interested in the girl. Curiosity got the better of me, and I resigned myself to stay as long as my schedule allowed, and I watched. 23 minutes later, when the train was stopped, I climbed out with them. A small soul was in my arms. I stood a little to the right. The dynamic train guard you made their way back to the mother, the girl, and the small male corpse. I clearly remember that my breath was loud that day. I am surprised the guards didn't notice me as they walked by. The world was sieging now, under the weight of all that snow. Perhaps 10 meters to my left, the pale, empty stomached girl was standing frost stricken. Her mouth jittered, her cold arms were folded, tears were frozen to the book thief's face. The eclipse. Next, a signature black to show the pose of my versatility, if you like, if it was the darkest moment before the dawn. This time I had come for a man of perhaps 24 years of age. It was a beautiful thing in some ways. The plane was still coughing, smoke was leaking from both its lungs. When it crashed, three deep gashes were made in the earth. Its wings were now sawn off arms. No more flapping, not for this metallic little bird. Some other small facts. Sometimes I arrive too early, I rush, and some people cling longer to life than expected. After a small collection of minutes, the smoke exhausted itself. There was nothing left to give. A boy arrived first with cluttered breath and what appeared to be a toolkit. With great trepidation, he approached the cockpit and watched the pilot, gauging if he was alive, at which point he was still. The book thief arrived perhaps 30 seconds later. Years had passed, but I recognized her. She was panting. For the toolkit, the boy took out, of all things, a teddy bear. He reached in through the torn windscreen and placed it on the pilot's chest. The smiling bear sat huddled amongst the crowded wreckage of the man and the blood. A few minutes later, I took my chance. The time was right. I walked in, loosened his soul, and carried it out gently out. All that was left was the body, the dwindling smell of smoke, and the smiling teddy bear. As the crowd survived in full, things of course had changed. The horizon was beginning to charcoal. Was left to the blackness above. The nothing now has but a scribble and disappearing fast. The man in comparison was the color of bone, skeletal colored skin, a ruffled uniform. His eyes were cold and brown like coffee stains, and the last scroll from above formed what to me appeared an odd yet familiar shape, a signature. The crowd did was what crowds do. As I made my way through, each person stood and played with the quietness of it. It was a small concoction of disjointed hand movements, muffled sentences, and mute self-conscious turns. When I glanced back at the plane, the pilot's open mouth appeared to be smiling. A final dirty joke, another human punchline. He remained shrouded amongst his uniform, and the graying light arm rested the sky. As with many of the others, when I began my journey away, there seemed a quick shadow again, a final moment of eclipse, the recognition of another soul gone. You see, to me, for just a moment, despite all of the colors that touch the grapple with what I see in this world, I will often catch an eclipse when a human dies. I have seen millions of them. I have seen more eclipses than I care to remember. The flag. The last time I saw her was red. The sky was like soap, boiling and stirring. In some places, it was burned. There were black crumbs and paper streaked amongst the redness. Earlier kids had been playing hopscotch there on the street, but it looked like all stained pages. When I arrived, I could still hear the echoes, the feet tapping the road, the children's voices laughing, and the smiles like salt but decaying fast. Then bombs. This time everything was too late. The sirens, the cuckoo shrieks, and the radio, all too late. Within minutes, mounds of concrete and earth were stacked and piled. The streets were ruptured veins. Blood streams till it was dried on the road, and the bodies were stuck there like driftwood after the flood. They were glued down, every last one of them a packet of souls. What is fate, Miss Fuchion? Is that what glued them down like that? Of course not. Let's not be stupid. It probably had more to do with the hurdle bombs thrown down by humans hiding in the clouds. 4 hours, the sky remained a devastating home-cooked red. The small German town had been flung apart one more time. Snowflakes of ash fell so lovely. You were attempting to scratch out your tongue to catch them, taste them. Only they would have scorched your lips. They would have cooked your mouth. Clearly, I say it. I was just about to leave when I found her kneeling there. A mountain range of rubble was erected around her. She was clutching at a book. Apart from everything else, the book thief wanted desperately to go back to the basement to write or to read through her story one last time. In hindsight, I see it so obviously on her face. She was dying for it, the safety, the home of it, but she could not move. Also, the basement no longer existed. It was the part of the mangled landscape. Please, again, I ask you to believe me. I wanted to stop, to crouch down. I wanted to say, I am sorry, child, but that is not allowed. I did not crouch down, I did not speak. Instead, I watched her a while. When she was able to move, I followed her. She dropped the book. She kneeled. The book thief howled. Her book was stepped on several times as the cleanup began, and although orders were given to clear only the mess to concrete, the girl's most precious item was thrown abroad a garbage truck. At which point I was compelled. I climbed abroad and took it in my hand, not realizing that I would read her story several hundred times over the years on my travels. I will watch the places where we intersected and marvel at what the girl saw and how she survived. That is the best I can do. Watch it fall into line with everything else I spectated during that time. When I recollect her, I see a long list of colors, but it's the three in which I saw her in the flesh that resonate the most. Sometimes I manage to float far above those three moments. I hang suspended until a septic brush leads towards clarity. That's when I see them formulate. The colors red, white, black. They fall on top of each other, the scribbled signature black onto the blinding global white, onto the thick soupy red. Yes, often I am reminded of her, and in one of my vast array of pockets, I have kept her story to retell. It is one of the small legion I carry, each one extraordinary in its own right, each one an attempt, an immense leaf of an attempt to prove to me that you and your human existence are worth it. Here it is, one of a handful, the book thief. If you feel like it, come with me. I will tell you a story. I will show you something. हम नेक्स्ट वीडियो में पार्ट 1 द ग्रेव डिगर्स हैंडबुक पढ़ेंगे. दोस्तों, कैसा लगा रीडिंग मुझे कमेंट्स में ज़रूर बताइएगा. थैंक यू. अराइवल ऑन हिमन स्ट्रीट. थैंक यू वेरी मच. मुझे कौन से बुक रीड करनी चाहिए, कैसे करनी चाहिए, मुझे कमेंट्स में ज़रूर बताइए. बाय फॉर नाउ.